posted on city property. That's what I'm talking about.
So the reason I'm confused about that is that they specifically took out some of the signs that were along the yard.
Around there.
And they said you can put them back in as long as it's 30 feet from the corner and 10 feet back from the road. It's not a problem at all.
Not on the city property stuff. That's what we're.
Right here. This is what they said at this community center. This is where I've been all week.
Okay. Well, this is the last day anyways until Tuesday or whatever. We're doing other stuff. I was just telling you about it because if another officer comes up, you could receive or go to jail or citation or something to that effect. Okay?
Hi, yes. I was calling because I wanted to make sure that I understand the rules regarding political signs for the election day tomorrow.
Okay.
So there were some signs that were up at the community center on Friday, the last day of early voting. And the community center told us that signs were okay as long as they were outside, past the no electioneering point, and as long as they were not within 30 feet of the intersection of W.S. Young and Veterans Memorial, and if they were at least 10 feet back from the roads.
Okay. Yeah, so the confusion was all the political signs that were there were actually on the City of Colleen's property. And being this city, we can't have political signs on city property because then it looks like we're endorsing, certain individuals. And we can't do that as a city. So I had to have them remove all of the ones that were on the property. And then they have to be, yes, at least 10 feet from the property. But the problem is that particular address, 10 foot from the property makes it in the right-of-way.
Right.
So we can't have political signs in the right-of-way either. So, and unfortunately, it's a bad location to have political signs all around.
Okay, so just because of the layout, then, there are no signs allowed at the community center.
Pretty much. I mean, unless you can go down further and you're not in the right-of-way. But that's going to be the key factor right there. Not on city property. Has to be at least 10 foot from the property itself, and then it cannot be in the right-of-way.
So the city property ends, is it past the parks, where the soccer and baseball fields are?
I would have to pull up that address to see, because I do believe the parks there are city property as well.
That's what I'm assuming, yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess also my last question is, I know that tomorrow people will be able to vote also at Priest Drive, which is also an early voting location. I noticed, though, that when I was there were lots of signs there, and I'm just a little confused what the difference is between that place, which does allow signs.
The difference is I have not made it there, so that's the difference. I had drove by probably about an hour ago, maybe a little bit more than an hour ago, and I did see that there were a lot of signs there, but I had a meeting I had to go to that I could not miss, so I was not able to stop because there was just too many. But tomorrow, that will be my destination stop for sure.
Okay.
Because they are next to the road and they cannot be there in the right of way.
So on Friday, I know that when I was there, an off-duty police officer actually told me that if I didn't take the signs up, he was going to have me arrested. Which was just very, obviously confrontational and confusing, given that, the signs have been up at Priest Drive, for all of the entire 2 weeks of early voting. And I had spent a lot of time down there handing out brochures as well, in addition to the community center. Did you guys respond? I'm assuming that officer called in the complaint to code enforcement instead of, is that what happened?
I have, to be honest with you, I have no idea. I didn't even hear about that. So, you said he was an off-duty?
Yeah, he told me
he wasn't in uniform?
Correct. He came in a police vehicle, but was not in uniform, and basically said, you need to take these signs up right now. They're on public property. And I was trying to ask him questions about that, given that I had been down to Priest earlier, and there were, obviously lots of signs there, and trying to figure out, what the rules were. And I had already talked to the community center, who told me the 30-foot, 10-foot rule that I mentioned. So I thought everything was fine. And I was just trying to understand from him, what his point was. And I just assumed that since you guys showed up later that day, that officer called you guys.
Yeah, no, I received word from my supervisor. I'm not sure where my supervisor got that information to have me go down. I have no idea, to be honest with you. But who is this officer?
I was so startled by it that I did not catch his name, but I did start recording with my cell phone once he started mentioning arrest. So I'm not entirely sure. The name Sepulveda comes to mind, but I also know that's just a big street in Austin, and I might be just confusing it. It was.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I very well could be. I'm not sure though. That name doesn't sound familiar, but we're not police. We are code enforcement, so we definitely both work for the city, but we're two, completely separate entities. They have their own building on the other side of town, and we're here downtown. We enforce, weeds and grass, the International Property Maintenance Codes on buildings. We do obstruction of right-of-ways. We do all other surface, those type of violations like city ordinance that adopt. But
given
we don't, intense vehicles, but we don't do any kind of arrest or anything like that. We do very low-level tickets for the ordinances that I had mentioned earlier.
Gotcha. Well, I certainly didn't want to break any rules, and I was just, I gotten different information, and it wasn't clear to me what I was supposed to be doing to make sure I didn't break any rules.
I mean, I can always, we do have pamphlets that I could always get you a pamphlet that does talk about the political signs and where they can and cannot go. That way you'll have it in writing if that helps you any.
Well, I think the issue was that, for example, obviously I think it's safe to assume that the community center is city property, even though there's no sign that specifically says this is city property, therefore no signs. That's what the problem was. So even though a pamphlet would outline the rules, unless it contained a map, that outlined what all the sections of the city were that are not allowed anything because it's owned by the city, it wouldn't be that helpful.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't do that.
Do you know off the top of your head, Lions Club Park, I'm assuming, I know that's a voting location tomorrow that's near my house. I assume that's also city property?
Let me look real quick. Because I don't want to give you wrong information, so I'm going to pull it up real fast.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. Parcel owner is the city of Killeen, yes, sir.
Okay, so then I'll just name not to bring any signs. And then as long as I'm beyond the electioneering point, I can still hand out pamphlets?
As long as you're not near the election point, yes, sir.
Okay.
You just can't stand in the doorway. You know what I mean? You can be, there at the site, like in the doorway trying to hand out flyers.
Right, I know. They put a pretty clear sign showing where that marker is.
Okay, good deal.
And I know you said your name earlier, but do you mind just tell me your name one time just so I know who I spoke to and if there is an issue tomorrow?
Yeah, no problem at all. It's Carrie, C-A-R-Y, Trabal, T-R-A, B as in Bravo, A-L.
Great. Thank you so much, Mr. Bell. You've been very helpful.
Do you have my direct phone number?
No, I do not.
Let me go ahead and give you my direct phone number. So if you have any other questions tomorrow, if anything comes up and you have any other concerns, feel free to give me a call, okay?
Okay.
My phone number, I'm going to give you two numbers. It's first is my desk, and it's 501-7602.
7602, okay.
And then I'm going to give you my work cell phone, and it's 423-4914.
And I think you mentioned that you guys swung by the community center on Friday because of your supervisor. Who's that?
My supervisor is Lee Watts.
Leewatts?
WATTS. Yeah, I just got a message to go and take a look at the signs and see if they were in the right of way or on city property. And when I got there, yeah, they were. So I had to be fair, and I had to let the staff inside know that they were in the right of way. So I had to because before Friday, I don't know, do you remember seeing all the signs that were along the road?
Oh yeah, I did.
Around that side. Yeah, so I'm the one who had it. I went inside and I talked to them and let them know that it's city property and they're all in the right of way. And then that's when everything started going, because, we have to be fair. We can't just pull, one political sign and not the others. You know what I mean?
Right, no, I understand.
So be fair with that.
Yeah, that was my concern because there was only one campaign that was out with signs on Friday when you guys came by, even though, like you said...
I believe it was minor, I believe.
Right, that's what I was volunteering for.
Yeah.
And the thing the optics of it were that given that there are everybody's signs, Republicans, Democrats, and all, various people within both parties and other parties at pre-strike, it looked like he was specifically being targeted because those signs had been allowed to be up at pre-strike for 2 full weeks. And
unfortunately, we can't be everywhere at once. You know what I mean? And normally, it's... Sorry, I've got a lot of PD on the phone for me. I'm sorry. I'm trying to pull up and wear 2 hats at the same time right now. So normally, there's only so many of us officers, and we can't be everywhere in the city. We're trying to comb the streets and try to, get the neighborhoods clean, and it just is unfortunate that, I was asked to go to that particular property and take a look at those signs, but it wasn't mentioned about the pre-strike. I didn't even know about pre-strike until it's just a little bit ago, actually, when I was on my way back in for a meeting. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm going to go tomorrow and take a look at those.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. You've been wonderfully helpful. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. You're welcome. You have a wonderful day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.